Okay, we'll call the meeting to order. It's 6:30. And I'll have a roll call, please.
The roll call, Jim, you're going to have to call the name and have someone respond.
Okay. Sandy,
Here,
Mac,
Here.
okay. I'm here. Peter is not. Donna is not. And we also have Guy and Russ. Okay. I've got on the agenda approval of minutes for March, excuse me, March 5th, but I don't have the minutes.
I found the minutes attached to the March 19th folder that was sent out, but the minutes were wrong, so we can't approve them as presented on the 19th.
Okay, we'll postpone them for the next meeting.
Yep.
They should put people on mute until they want to speak.
Okay, we've got the sewer business. We have got some contracts that need to be executed. Now, the first one for Synagro, which is the sludge contract. And this is year 2 of the 2-year renewal that we can do. This is the last year of it.
More than one person.
Guy, as far as I can see from the contract, everything remains the same.
That is correct. The only thing in the contract, if you read through it, there's if you will, a indicator to allow the contract to rise by a certain index. They haven't executed. Usually that's in the end of June or July. They'll send us a report on that index. We've agreed to that, and if the tax goes up, it'll go up. If it stays the same, it'll stay the same. That's the only thing that would change in that contract.
Okay. Right, have a motion on this contract?
Is there a cost someplace?
No. No, there's no, I have no cost on the thing.
Okay. I make a motion, we approve the Synagro sludge contract renewal.
I get a second?
I'll
Okay,
second.
all right, all in favor? Aye,
Aye.
No, you have to roll call.
okay. All in favor, Mac
Aye.
and Sandy
Aye.
and Jim, myself, yes, aye. 3-0-0. The next contract we have is with Holland Company, and that is chemicals. And let's see.
So this is for polyaluminum chloride?
Correct.
Is that the only thing this is for?
That is correct.
That's right. That's all they provide.
I make a motion, we approve the Holland Company, Inc. contract renewal 7/1/2020.
Okay. I have a second.
Second.
Mac, is there, Mac seconds it.
Mac, second.
All in favor? Sandy,
Yes,
Mac,
Aye.
and Jim, aye. That's a 3-0-0. And I've got another contract. Okay, just as an, okay. Yeah, this one is Beta for C Street. And the amount of 72,000, is that correct, Guy?
That is correct, Jim. That contract actually has been executed by Derek. I believe it was February or March. What Judy suggested is that we extend it because originally it was last July. So Judy's concern is that the auditors may say that we can't go beyond the July 2021 date because that's the date of the original contract. So Judy suggested that we extend it a year from the date Derek signed it, just to make sure we get the project done.
And Derek signed it March 4th, 2020.
Yes. So the contract is good. And in theory, the contract goes a year from the time he signs it. Judy's concern is if you look back in the original, when we did this originally, it expired, I believe it was July of 2019.
Okay. Okay, so we need,
So if we extended it from Derek's date a year out, then we'd be covered for
Yeah.
any scenario.
so what are we looking at? Two motions, one to extend it and one to accept it?
Jim, it has been accepted and
Okay,
Derek
it's been
signed
accepted.
it. It's done. If we do nothing, the contract's good. The only concern that Judy has is that if the auditors go to the original July date, it may be an issue. That's all.
Okay.
So we thought we'd extend it out from Derek's date just to make sure we're good.
Okay. In the document I have, where does it have the agreement date was May 9th, 2019. I make a motion that we extend the date of the contract for 1 year, starting March 4th, 2020.
Extend it from March 4th, 2020.
Yes, 1 year from March 4th, 2020 to March 4th, 2021.
Okay.
Did I make that as a motion?
Yes, please.
Yes, you
That was
did.
a motion. Was that a second, Mac?
Mac, aye.
Okay. And that's an aye from me. Sandy's an aye,
Yes.
so 300. Okay, now, as an aside, we've got these contracts here. These need to be signed, is that correct, Guy? You need to have these contracts signed.
Jim, I believe so. I don't know how we circulate them. I'll have to figure that out.
Well, the question basically is, these have to be signed, is that correct? Or they should be signed,
Yes,
Okay.
it should be signed.
okay?
But I
I'm
believe
gonna
we
make
can
a-
do it. I
I'm
can
gonna
believe
make a
we can do, no, sorry, we can do it electronic signatures, but I don't think we can make an approval for one person to sign on behalf of all.
I don't know. That would have been my only suggestion, is
Yeah,
that the
that's what
board
I was
gives
gonna
Jim the right to
suggest.
sign.
That's what I was just gonna
Not on
suggest.
contracts.
I don't know.
Because I've seen something from, we have that issue with conservation, and I was told I could not do electronic signature by one person could not be the signer on contracts. So we need to find out how we do electronic signatures.
You don't just stick our finger in a light socket, right?
Or, I mean, it's one of those things, do you want us to each come to the sewer commissioner's office, sewer department, and sign? The three of us?
We could
Mac,
do
you and
that.
I?
Or I think I could probably email it or mail it to each person, and then you can mail it back or email it back. And all the individual signatures, we'll just put them together. I don't, that's a suggestion, but you tell me what the best way, but I can mail each one of you the contracts and you'd sign it and we'll just package them together and we've got it signed.
I
Well,
can do that.
Yeah. Okay, I'll be in there tomorrow anyhow to do the bill, so I'll sign.
Okay.
then.
I can follow Jim in and sign too.
Well, that's fine. Excellent.
So let's do that. You're gonna send it to Mac?
And I'll send it to Mac.
Okay,
Yeah, I'll scan it. I'll sign it, scan it, send it back.
Okay,
sounds good. Okay,
sounds good.
that's covered. We have billing for the town of Bourne. And this is the agreement that Derek reached with the town of Bourne. We've got capital costs billing to them for fiscal year 2019 in the amount of $188,477.53. And we also have the yearly sewer usage for Bourne in the amount of 400,000. I get a
That's correct.
motion to.
Okay, I make a motion, we approve the town of Bourne sewer fee billing of $400,000.
Okay, and the capital cost.
Well, I was gonna do it two separately. You want to both?
Okay,
at the
that's
same
fine,
time?
that's fine, that's fine.
All right. I'll
Mac.
motion to second that, Jim.
Okay, thank you. And all in favor, Mac, Sandy,
Aye.
Jim. Okay, that's a 3-zippy.
I make a motion that we invoice town of Bourne for the 2020 capital cost of $188,477.53.
Mac, I'll second that.
All right, and, okay, all in favor, aye. Jim, aye. Sandy,
Mac,
Aye.
aye.
Mac. Okay.
Aye.
0-0. I'll get used to this type of doing it. Okay, now,
So that contract will be sent to Max so he can sign and return the two contracts.
Yep.
Okay,
what we did before. Okay, and now we have the caterer on deck. That'd be you, Russ.
finally.
The GHD contract to do the groundwater investigation for the groundwater discharge.
Right. And that's in the amount of $115,000.
Now, keep in mind, we've not gotten approval from town. Our article has not been approved for that funding. Correct? Do we need the town approval to use this from our, capital reserves?
I believe,
Retained earnings.
yes, it has to be done at town meeting. We're taking it out of, I believe, from our reserve.
Retained, no,
Our
retained
retained
earnings.
earnings, yes. The
So
town
we
meeting is, I don't know when it is. I think it's scheduled for June 15th, thereabouts.
Thereabouts.
And what I'm not so sure of is when you usually have a special, the funds are allocated for the fiscal year that you're in. And
Yeah.
so if this gets approved in June 15th or thereabouts, we won't have time to do a contract and execute it, which we would have to do if we want to encumber the funds. So I'm concerned about that. And I'm wondering if the article should be amended on the floor. We could talk to Claire about it, but amended on the floor to bring it to fiscal 2021 also. The other option is we have in our present budget, we have a unforeseen $250,000. We could take it from there. But then, and also in that case, we would have to get that documents done, signed off by the town administrator, the accountant, get it back, get the contracts done, the job started, so we could encumber the funds again. So, because we're late in the year and we don't know when the fiscal ends, in theory, June 30th, but since we really don't know when it ends, I don't know what's going to happen with either funds that the ones we appropriate town meeting, or if we would appropriate out of our unforeseen.
But if we're planning this from our retained earnings, I believe because we're so late into the end of fiscal year, maybe we work with the town accountant to have this identified as carried over to 2021.
If you have that done at town meeting, it will not be an issue. If you have it allocated at town meeting for the 2020 budget, it will be an issue because you cannot encumber any monies on a contract that has not been executed and the job started.
Well, we can't pull this article, we cannot put this into the regular annual town meeting because that warrant has been closed.
Well,
I think we can,
Can we amend the article to state that we'd like the funds to be expended in 2021?
it's outside the scope of the article. I don't think that can happen. But
I have no idea, because I think the special is just for the fiscal year you're in.
that is correct. But
And
this
if-
is such a unique situation. I'm sure
Yes.
there is something we can do once these funds are approved from retained earnings in 2020. There has to be some exception available.
I would suggest you're right. I mean, we don't even know if the governor's going to have his budget out by the end of June. That's still not out. And without his budget, I think most communities can't even make their budget because they're relying on state funding.
Well,
So nobody, I mean, we are in some uncharted waters. I don't know. I mean, we're going to have to leave it to the powers to be to sort this out.
okay, so when we take a look at approving this particular contract, we put a note in it that is the funding source has not been approved from town meeting and et cetera. So I'm sure there's a way to make this happen.
One question here. Russ, what has to happen for you to get started doing this?
Okay,
Does this have to be passed first?
It has to be signed.
Pardon me?
Yes, typically with the project, we need to get a signed contract that allows us to open up a job number and start the work. But if there's things that we can do in advance to get the ball rolling, we just have to be careful contractually that we're not doing any work that significant work outside of contract. I'm just looking at the agreement now on my computer. You know, there are things we could probably start with just preliminary to get going with it, but we probably couldn't do a whole lot without a
yeah,
signature.
I mean, it's got
Okay,
to be known that we're signing this without any approved funds, correct?
That is correct, because we don't,
well,
look at a town meeting to approve funds.
That's right. Now, what we can do, Jim, is you're going to have to talk to the town administrator and tell him what we're facing here. Because we
Okay.
can't approve this contract because we don't have any funds.
well, we've technically got funds available, but it's in the budget. Is that correct, Guy?
We have $250,000 for unforeseen, which can be
Okay.
expended by the sewer commissioners upon their approval. And then it has to go to the town administrator, and then it has to go to the town accountant. But yes,
Okay.
we have funds that can be expended on your
Okay.
authorization.
But
Okay,
ask Derek what the options are.
so basically, we do have funds available. We've got to do a couple of jumps for
But if
final approval.
we use these funds that are available, when we get this approved at town meeting, can we transfer the 115,000 back into the spot?
That would be my direction to go with it. Because all we're doing is taking the money out of one hand and putting it in the other. I mean, the money's available.
So,
You know,
What-
we're dealing right now with technicalities because of this coronavirus. I mean, otherwise we'd have had town meeting by now. We would have done this by now. It would have been passed and approved by now. You know, and all we are right now is playing the word game, which kind of gets to be a little bit obnoxious, but
honestly, I think we need to talk to Mr. Sullivan. Tell him what we're facing and ask his recommendation.
well, I don't disagree with talking to him. However, how long do we want to delay this thing? It's
Well,
obviously been delayed already.
I know, but why not
Don't get
have a
something
meeting?
If we don't get something signed to him, he's not gonna be able to do anything, or they won't do anything without the signed thing.
Well, we can meet next
And we would
week.
like to get this done.
Jimmy,
Pardon
we
me?
can meet next week once we get an idea of a direction from Derek. We don't have to wait 2 weeks for another meeting. Because,
Okay, so,
because
what-
honestly, we have a shitload of abatements being requested that was not on this agenda that we haven't touched.
I know, we took them off specifically because that's not gonna, those will happen anyway.
But we
so
could meet next
It's
week.
not an issue, huh?
We could meet
we
next
could.
week with an answer from Mr. Sullivan. Because I will not sign this contract without funds available, and I'm not comfortable automatically asking to pull from another source.
Okay, all right, unfortunately, we'll table this until next week. I'll talk to Derek.
Do you need a motion to table?
Yeah, might as well have it. What the hell? I don't think I need it, but go ahead.
I make a motion, we table the GHD ground discharge contract for 1 week.
Mac,
I'll make a motion to second that for 1 week.
okay. Gotcha.
Clarification.
And, okay, and aye. Sandy, aye.
Aye.
Mac,
Aye,
aye.
aye. Yes.
Okay, we'll delay this for 1 week. We'll set up if Steve can do it, we'll do another one, do one of these next week. Okay, Guy, you're on stage.
I don't have a whole lot, Mr. Chairman. I know that one of the things that we're coming up against, I may have to tap into unforeseen, is that the flywheel or ring gear of the generator at the treatment plant has a tooth missing and a crack. That's about $40,000 to replace the ring gear. So I've got 3 quotes. We'll probably move forward. I'll look at our budget. I believe we're in good shape. Revenues seem to be coming in, but we'll probably further clarify that. But I've got to get it done because right now the generator is unreliable. And if we have a power outage, the plant will go down without the generator. So I really have no option. So we'll move forward and fix it and ride the budget out and see what happens.
Okay,
That was 40K?
Yes, it was $40,000. Which the whole unit, the whole building has to be disassembled. The Caterpillar, the motor, and the gen set have to be separated. Flywheel replaced, and then all put back together. And then while this is happening, because it take about a week to 2 weeks, we will have a portable generator on site, which is a lease generator, to make sure if we have a power outage during that time, we can run the facility.
Sounds like a plan.
yeah, go with it.
I wanted to say that, at the plant, Jim, we've been business and commissioners, business as usual since the COVID-19 started. The guys have been working diligently and through all the wagons and all the issues we've had. They've handled the water pretty good. I just got to say, I want to publicly take my hat off to the crew. Operation hasn't missed a beat. And I'm really excited and proud of the guys for stepping up and continue the operations.
Thank you for saying that. Now, do they have all of the safety equipment they need for this particular problem? I.e. the
Yes.
virus. I'm talking
We
about.
have masks. We have. We're also getting some masks next week from the EPA and FEMA. We have plenty of gloves. We've got sanitizers, plenty of chlorite, Tyvek. They have the face shields, and so we've been doing a good job with PPEs. And as they start becoming more available, we'll get them. One of the plans we have is to have a stockpile. From what I hear, no one's assured that this is over. and there won't be another wave, and I don't want to get caught again. So as soon as it lightens up, we'll buy excessive gloves, excessive masks, excessive different things, so we'll have in stock. So if this continues, we're able to, if it comes back, we'll be able to operate.
Guy, can I ask, have your employees been tested?
No one's been tested. We're
Okay,
not in, we've asked the commissioner of the Department of Environmental Protection, and we consider ourselves, frontline workers, but there's no provision to automatically test sewer workers. They're working on it. That may
Okay.
change. But as of right now, they'd have to be symptomatic to get tested.
Yes.
We
So,
do
but
know
everybody,
that there's COVID-19 in the community. We see it in our wastewater. The numbers are pretty consistent with the town is experiencing, so we know it's coming through. And so the guys just have to be extra careful. We do everything. We're just, on their toes. And again, to keep in mind that there are other things that come through the sewer that is as contagious, or if not more contagious than COVID. So it's part of the lifestyle, and the guys are trained, and it's just a heightened urgency at this time. But we have some experience with it.
As long as it's keeping them safe,
That's the goal.
but
That's the goal.
they are definitely frontline workers with all that goes through that place.
I couldn't agree with you more. I've advocated at many levels for the wastewater workers, because they are. I think sometimes they're forgotten, but people don't realize that every time they flush their toilet, it's taken for granted. Hospitals need to move water. Fire departments need to move water. Police departments need to move water. Town offices, and you can go on and on and on. So these guys make sure that sanitation, the sanitary flows continually, and we don't back up into the streets, creating a greater health issue. So I take my hats off to them.
and there's a nice sign outside the plant that says thank you.
I seen that, and we'd like to find the culprit. We have an idea. We have an idea, but we'd like to find out who it is, so we can thank them properly, because we do appreciate it.
Okay. Do you have anything else?
No, I
us?
don't, Tim. I'll be better
Okay.
prepared for next meeting with all it. So I've got a bunch of things we need to talk about, but I don't want to overwhelm this type of meeting, so we'll take it in pieces.
Okay, well,
Now-
I didn't want to make a long agenda for this meeting, because this is the first time we've done it this way, and want to see what the bugs are that we have to deal with, so. The
There were
next
two
meeting
other,
will include
Jim, there
some
were
of
two
the other items.
There were
What,
two
Sandy?
other things in the packet for the Lucky Goat and the Minot properties. You don't want to discuss them? They're not on the agenda, but they were in the packet.
No, I was gonna bring those up next week
Okay,
with the abatements as well.
okay.
Because we'll have, as I say, this meeting I wanted to try to keep simple and short, just so we could find out how nice Russ looks on camera.
I wish I could be there in person.
Yeah, you bring goodies.
Hey, listen, as the
No,
catering,
I'll
catering manager,
have to bring lobster rolls next time, not cannolis.
Well, if you're thinking of lobster rolls, we could probably meet outside and stay 6 feet apart just to accommodate your lobster rolls. I'm just saying.
Was that contract for 115,000? I think it just went up to 120,000.
okay. Unfinished business. We don't have anything really. We've got stuff, but it's nothing that's pending right at the moment that's necessary.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, unfinished business, we have the bond for lots 4, 5, and 6 on Minot Ave. They sent in the bond. So they'd bond that job. I think they're going to move on. So we have the bond. It's at the town hall with the building commissioner. We have it in our files also.
Okay.
So we got the 200,000.
Yes, ma'am.
Yay.
All right. Okay, and new business, I was just to put this down. We discussed it briefly the last time we met. And it's just to get it back so people are thinking about it, is coming up with a policy for the allocations. When we issue an allocation to a particular project, as has shown by lots 1, 2, and 3, that it seems like a time limit should be established. It's a reasonable one for both parties. I don't have a specific number in mind at the moment, and I'm only throwing this out so that we can all think about it and come back with something a little concrete.
At the very least, Mr. Chairman, I agree. If the building permit goes away, so doesn't their allocation. You could make it more tougher, but we know the other departments have it, like the building, if you don't use it, you lose it. So I think we should follow suit and decide on the length of time, but it makes all the sense in the world.
I just need to come up with an agreed upon time frame that's realistic. And I don't want to come up with a time frame that's unrealistic and puts an extreme burden on somebody that gets it, but neither do I want to be hung up holding an allocation that could be utilized for somebody else. Sandy.
Yes, Guy, is there a list of what we have approved that have not been started?
I'm not so sure what I have. I'll look in the box. We've got permits out there, and I'll look at the dates, etc. Technically, once you get a permit, you allocate the gallons, you have a permit, and once you take out a permit, you only have a month to utilize the permit. But that's once you get a permit, because we gave them allocation, they never came for the permit. So we have some in the box permits, and we just expire them out. And so they have to come back for a permit. We could probably tie allocations into it. Because when we allocate, sometimes people are dreaming about a development. They come for allocation. As example of the 40B project, they've allocated a couple years ago, maybe. They haven't had the funding yet because of credits, et cetera, et cetera. I don't know how that works, but there's other businesses that are doing the same thing. So I think we have to come up with a concrete, as Jim has suggested, a concrete number that says once you allocate, you don't start this process within a reasonable amount of time, you're done. You lose your allocation.
They're looking for, with Littleton Drive coming up, they're going to be looking for capacity.
I know. I've looked at the numbers. I think I've seen something in the paper about what the new developer has been awarded, what he's thinking of. I'm playing with the allocation. I'm sorry, playing with the numbers.
Don't use what's in the paper. You have to go to Ken Buckland. Do not use what's in the paper.
I'll go to Ken. I left Ken a couple messages. I have talked to Ken. Ken wasn't too sure. Nothing was concrete. It could be, a bunch of 2 bedrooms, could be some 3 bedrooms, could be some 1 bedrooms. And I was looking for something a little more concrete so I can hang my hat on. And I don't have that.
Until you get something concrete, that's absolutely nothing. We don't know anything. We can't begin to say yay or nay.
No, and I don't want to say, let's figure all 3 bedrooms and give that allocation up, because that's not fair either. So once the town decides on what they're actually going to do, they would have to approach the board about an allocation.
Okay.
Yeah, because all right. Okay,
Is it
that's all I'm
time?
going to do on allocations for tonight.
Is it time?
Time for what?
Is it time?
Always time.
To make the motion?
Almost. First of all, the next meeting date, just so it's in place, is going to
May
be
21st.
Thank you very much.
Can we confirm with Steve that that's available?
I'm sure that
Okay. So I know that the school committee meets whatever. I don't know, because we wanted to meet originally. That's why we're this week, because the school committee had this system. So I'll call Steve tomorrow and get a verification.
because
Okay.
honestly, conservation and planning are both meeting on the 20th at the same time.
And they're both being Zoomed?
Yeah,
Okay, then we're all set. I don't know.
maybe not
The only
controlled
reason
by
we-
Steve.
The reason just so you all are aware, the reason we had this meeting tonight rather than last
So I'll let you know, May
Thursday was
21st
because of
is
the
school committee.
meeting. And school committee's on the 21st,
Yes, it is.
Steve? Okay.
What time?
They generally run at 7.
So we run at 6. Can we be done in an hour?
You can be done in an hour, I'll squeeze you in.
So we say 6 o'clock on the 21st? Doable?
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, that works.
Because we really need to
If
get
that
this.
works, Steve, if
groundwater.
that works for you.
Yeah, we'll make it work. Piece of cake.
Thank you,
Okay.
Steve.
Because that mean we'll do the groundwater and all of the rebates,
Abatements, yes. And you might,
abatements.
Okay.
you might stick in your brewery there, I think it was, and something else you had.
Okay, we may. All right. Okay.
Now is it time?
Think about the allocations, that's all.
Okay.
Yes, it's time.
I make a motion, we adjourn at 7:04.
Second,
Motion second.
Thank
all
you.
in favor?
Aye.
Everybody?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. You all be safe. Take care of yourselves. God bless, and we'll see you.
guys.
Thank
All
you
right,
very
take
much.
care,
Have a good
guys.
evening.
Take care, everybody.
Thanks for being there.